You ever feel like the world's turned its back on you? Like every move you make, every word you say, it's all just noise to them? They don't see you. They don't hear you. And when they do, it's only to mock, to tear apart whatever little hope you cling to. I know that feeling. Trust me. I know it better than most. But let me tell you something, my friend. That silence they shove you into, that's where you become dangerous. You see, silence isn't weakness. No, silence is a weapon, a blade sharper than words, deadlier than any scream. The moment you stop explaining yourself, stop begging for their understanding, you shift the game. Suddenly, your absence becomes louder than anything you could have ever said. And that silence, oh, it's deafening. It creeps into their minds, makes them question everything, who they are, what they've done to you, why you disappeared. They'll start to wonder. And that wonder, it'll eat them alive. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about why you're here, sitting in the shadows, letting the world stomp all over you. Is it because they told you you're not enough? That you're broken, useless, a failure? Or is it because deep down you started to believe them? Yeah, I see it in your eyes, that doubt, that little voice in your head whispering, maybe they're right. Let me tell you something, kid. That voice, it's a liar, a manipulative, conniving liar. And every time you listen to it, you're handing over your power, your control. You know what power is? It's not loud. It doesn't shout. Power is quiet. It's standing still when the world's trying to push you down. It's looking them in the eye and saying, I don't owe you an explanation. Power's the kind of silence that doesn't crumble. It builds. It grows into something they can't ignore. Let me give you an example. Imagine a man, a good man, a kind man, who spends his whole life trying to please everyone. He works hard, gives more than he takes, and yet they still spit on him. They still laugh behind his back, call him a fool. One day, that man stops. He doesn't shout. He doesn't fight. He just stops. He disappears into himself, cuts off the noise, the chaos, and suddenly, those same people who mocked him, they can't stop thinking about him. They wonder where he went, why he left. Their laughter turns into whispers, their whispers into guilt. That's the power of silence, my friend. It's not about running away. It's about stepping back and letting them choke on their own words. But don't get me wrong, this isn't about revenge. No, revenge is for the weak, for the ones still trapped in their anger. This is about reclaiming your peace, your dignity. It's about reminding yourself that you don't need their approval, their validation. You are enough, just as you are. Flaws, scars, mistakes, all of it. Because those scars, they're not weaknesses, they're proof you survived. And survival, my friend, is the greatest act of defiance. Now let's talk about pain. Yeah, I know it well. It's like a shadow that never leaves, always lurking, always there. But pain isn't your enemy. Pain is a teacher, a brutal one, sure, but a teacher nonetheless. It strips away the lies, the illusions, and shows you the truth of who you are. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to build you, to make you unbreakable. So when they hurt you, when they betray you, don't let it break you. Let it shape you. Let it turn you into someone they'll regret ever crossing. You want to know the secret to surviving this world? It's not about being the strongest or the smartest. It's about endurance. It's about outlasting the storm, standing tall when everyone else falls. And the best way to endure silence. Not the kind of silence that hides, but the kind that watches, waits, learns. The kind of silence that says, I'm still here, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Think about this. The greatest battles aren't fought with fists or guns. They're fought in the mind, in the heart. And the moment you let them into your head, let their words poison you, you've already lost. But if you stay silent, if you keep your thoughts to yourself, you hold the power. They can't hurt what they don't understand, can't break what they can't see. So here's my advice. Stop talking. Stop explaining. Stop justifying. Let your silence speak for you. Let it scream louder than their insults, cut deeper than their lies. Let it remind them that you don't need them. You never did. And when they finally realize that, when they see that their words, their actions, mean nothing to you, that's when you win. That's when they start to question their own existence, their own worth. Because here's the thing, kid. People like them, they thrive on control, on making you doubt yourself. Take that away, and they're left with nothing but their own insecurities. They'll look at you, standing there in your silence, and they'll see everything they're not. Strong, resilient, untouchable. And that'll haunt them more than any revenge ever could. Stand up, stand tall, and let your silence be the loudest thing in the room. Let it be the thing that makes them question everything. Because in the end, your silence isn't just for them. It's for you. It's your shield, your sanctuary, your strength. Use it. Wield it. And never, ever let them take it away. You think they'll get over you, don't you? You think they'll just move on like you were some passing shadow, barely noticeable, easily forgotten. But let me tell you something. They won't. Not because you're special to them, but because you'll be the one thing they can't escape. People like them, they live off control, feeding on the chaos they cause. But when you step away, when you take away their control, their influence over you, that's when they start falling apart. You see, silence is a mirror. It doesn't just reflect their actions, it amplifies them. Every cruel word they said, every betrayal, every time they looked at you like you were less, it'll all come rushing back to them. Not because you reminded them, but because they'll remind themselves. That's the curse of silence. It doesn't need words to haunt them. It lingers in the spaces they can't fill, in the doubts they can't shake. But don't think for a second this is going to be easy. No, silence isn't for the faint of heart. It's not about retreating or hiding. It's about standing firm, even when the world tries to drag you down. It's about looking in the mirror and owning every scar, every wound, every mistake. Because the truth is, silence isn't just about them, it's about you. It's about reclaiming the pieces of yourself they tried to take. It's about finding your strength in the quiet, in the stillness. And let's talk about that strength. People think strength is loud, that it's all about shouting the loudest, fighting the hardest. But real strength, it's quiet. It's the ability to endure, to keep going even when every part of you is screaming to give up. It's walking away from the noise, the drama, and finding peace in your own company. It's knowing that you don't need their validation, their approval, because you're enough on your own. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt at peace? Not happy? Not content? At peace. When was the last time you sat in silence and felt the weight of the world lift off your shoulders, even for a moment? That's what silence can give you. Not answers, not solutions, but clarity. It strips away the noise, the distractions, and leaves you with nothing but the truth. And sometimes that truth hurts. Sometimes it's unbearable. But it's always better than the lies they fed you. Let's get real for a second. You're angry, aren't you? Angry at them, at the world, at yourself. And that anger, it's burning you up inside, eating away at whatever's left of you. But you know what anger really is? It's fear disguised. Fear that they were right about you. Fear that you're not enough. Fear that you'll never escape their shadow. But here's the thing about fear. It's a liar. It whispers in your ear, telling you you're weak, you're broken. But the truth is, you're still here. You're still standing. And that's proof enough that you're stronger than they'll ever be. They'll come back, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday they'll come back, not because they miss you, but because they miss the control. They'll try to pull you back into their chaos, their drama. They'll say they've changed, that they're sorry. Don't believe them. People like them don't change. They just find new ways to manipulate, new ways to make you doubt yourself. And the moment you let them in, the moment you break your silence, you're giving them power all over again. So stay silent, not for them, but for you. Stay silent because your peace, your sanity, is worth more than their apologies, their excuses. Stay silent because you deserve better than what they gave you. And when they finally realize they can't reach you, can't hurt you anymore, that's when you've truly won. And let me make one thing clear. This isn't about being heartless. This isn't about shutting yourself off from the world. It's about setting boundaries, about protecting yourself from the people who don't deserve you. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone take it away. Because at the end of the day, your silence isn't a punishment for them. It's a gift to yourself. So here's what you do. You walk away, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with peace. You walk away because you know that staying will only hurt you more. And when they call, when they beg for your attention, you let your silence answer for you. Not out of spite, but out of strength. Because your silence, it's not emptiness, it's not weakness. It's the loudest declaration of your worth, of your power. And one day, they'll look back. They'll see the void you left, the space they can never fill. They'll realize what they lost, what they threw away. And you'll be free. Free from their lies, their manipulations, their poison. Free to live your life on your terms, in your peace. My friend, let your silence speak for you. Let it tell them everything they need to know, without you saying a single word. Because in the end, your silence will do what their words never could. It'll make them question their entire existence. And that, my friend, is the greatest revenge of all. You might be thinking, but what if they don't care? What if my silence doesn't matter to them? Let me stop you right there. That's the beauty of silence. It's not for them. It's not about whether they care or not. It's about reclaiming your power, your peace. You've spent enough time letting their opinions, their actions, their words dictate your life. Silence is your rebellion. It's you saying, I don't need your validation. I don't need your approval. I'm done playing your game. But let me tell you something else about people like them. Oh, they'll act like they don't care. They'll pretend your absence means nothing, that your silence is just another void they can ignore. But deep down, they'll feel it. They'll feel the weight of it in every quiet moment. In every second they're left alone with their own thoughts. They'll try to distract themselves, bury it under noise and chaos. But your silence will haunt them. It'll creep into their minds when they least expect it. A constant reminder of what they lost. And you'll grow stronger with every moment of silence. Because silence isn't passive. It's not about doing nothing. It's about choosing not to react, not to engage. It's about focusing on yourself, on your growth, on your healing. It's about turning inward and finding the strength you forgot you had. And the more you embrace that silence, the more you'll realize you don't need them. You never did. Let me give you another example. Picture a river flowing fast and strong. People throw rocks into it, try to block its path, disrupt its flow. But the river doesn't stop. It doesn't fight the rocks. It just moves around them, over them, through them. It keeps flowing, unbothered, unstoppable. That's what silence is. It's not resistance. It's resilience. It's knowing that no matter what they throw at you, you'll keep moving forward. But here's the thing about silence. It's not easy. It takes discipline, patience, strength. It takes courage to sit with your thoughts, to face your pain without drowning it in noise. It's easier to lash out, to scream, to let your anger consume you. But that's what they want. They want you to react, to show them they still have power over you. Don't give them that satisfaction. Let your silence be your strength, your shield. And don't mistake silence for weakness. Weakness is letting them control you, letting their words and actions define who you are. Strength is walking away, staying quiet, refusing to give them the reaction they crave. Strength is knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone take it away. And when you embrace that strength, that silence, you'll find a peace they can't touch, a power they can't take. Now let's talk about the future. Because silence isn't just about the past. It's about building a better future for yourself. It's about letting go of the pain, the anger, the resentment, and focusing on what really matters. You. It's about finding your purpose, your passion, your joy. It's about creating a life that's yours, not one defined by their expectations or their judgment. You see, silence isn't the end, it's the beginning. It's the space where you find yourself, where you rediscover who you are and what you want. It's where you learn to love yourself again, scars and all. And when you do that, when you embrace your silence and your strength, you become unstoppable. So don't be afraid of silence. Don't be afraid of the stillness, the quiet. Embrace it. Use it. Let it heal you, strengthen you, empower you. Let it be the foundation of the life you're building. A life free from their lies, their manipulation, their poison. Let it be the loudest statement of your worth, your strength, your power. And remember this, silence isn't about them. It's about you. It's about choosing peace over chaos, strength over weakness, love over hate. It's about reclaiming your life, your voice, your power. So stand tall, stay quiet, and let your silence speak for you. Let it be the thing that makes them question their entire existence. And as they sit there, lost in their guilt, their regret, you'll be free. Free to live, to grow, to thrive. Because in the end, your silence isn't just a weapon, it's your salvation. It's the key to a life they can't touch, a life that's yours and yours alone. So embrace it, wield it, and never, ever let them take it away. Silence is a void they can't fill, a puzzle they'll never solve. It doesn't scream or demand attention. It simply is. And the longer it stretches, the louder it gets. It forces them to sit with themselves, to look inward and confront the ugliness they tried to project onto you. And that's the beauty of it. They can't run from themselves, no matter how hard they try. But let's not sugarcoat this. Silence isn't just about them. It's about what it does to you. It's a crucible, a test of your strength. You'll sit in that quiet, and at first, it'll feel like the walls are closing in. Every wound they inflicted, every word that cut deep, it'll all rise to the surface. It'll be raw, brutal, unrelenting. But that's the process, my friend. That's how you heal. You don't bury the pain, you face it. You let it wash over you, break you down, and then you rise from it stronger than ever. Think of silence like a storm. It starts with chaos, thunder roaring in your chest, lightning flashing in your mind. But eventually, the storm passes. The skies clear, the air becomes still, and you're left with a quiet so profound, it feels like peace. That's what you're fighting for. Not revenge, not vindication, but peace. The kind of peace that can't be touched, can't be shaken. But don't get it twisted. Silence isn't about letting them win. It's about refusing to play their game. They want you to react, to lash out, to show them they still have control. But when you choose silence, you're taking that control away. You're flipping the script, leaving them with nothing but their own actions to haunt them. And trust me, that's far more powerful than any words you could say. Now let's talk about their guilt, their regret. Oh, they'll deny it at first. They'll tell themselves they did nothing wrong, that you're the one who walked away. But guilt is a funny thing. It doesn't show up when you expect it, doesn't knock politely on the door. No, guilt sneaks in through the cracks, through the silence. It whispers in the quiet moments, in the spaces where your absence lingers. It festers, grows, until it's all they can think about. And you don't need to lift a finger. You don't need to say a word. Your silence does the work for you, planting seeds of doubt and regret in their minds. Every time they hear your name, every time they see something that reminds them of you, it'll sting. It'll remind them of what they lost, of the person they pushed away. And that sting, it'll last a lifetime. But don't let that be your focus. Their guilt, their regret, that's their burden to carry, not yours. Your focus should be on yourself, on your healing, your growth. Use the silence to rediscover who you are, to rebuild what they tried to break. Use it to find your strength, your purpose. Because the truth is, you don't need them. You never did. Let me give you another example. Picture a tree standing alone in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain lashes, but the tree doesn't break. Its roots run deep, anchoring it to the ground. It bends, sways, but it doesn't fall. And when the storm passes, the tree stands taller, stronger, its roots even deeper than before. That's you. That's what silence does. It anchors you, strengthens you, makes you unshakable. And here's the kicker. They'll never understand it. People like them, they don't know how to sit in silence. They thrive on chaos, on noise, on control. Take that away, and they're left with nothing but their own emptiness. And that emptiness, it terrifies them. That's why they'll try to drag you back, to pull you into their drama. But you don't need to go. You don't need to explain yourself, justify your actions. Your silence is enough. And when they finally realize they can't reach you, can't hurt you anymore, that's when you've truly won. Not because they're suffering, but because you're free. Free from their lies, their manipulations, their poison. Free to live your life on your terms in your peace. So my friend, don't fear the silence. Embrace it. Use it. Let it be your weapon, your shield, your sanctuary. Let it be the thing that sets you free. And when they sit there, lost in their guilt, their regret, their emptiness, you'll know you've done what they never could. You've found peace. You've found strength. You've found yourself. And in the end, isn't that what matters most? Not their regret, not their guilt, but your freedom, your peace. So stand tall, stay quiet, and let your silence speak louder than any words ever could. Let it be the thing that makes them question their entire existence, while you move forward, unshaken, unstoppable. Because your silence isn't just a void, it's a force, a power, a declaration. And that, my friend, is what makes it truly unstoppable. You see, silence isn't just about the absence of noise. It's about presence. It's about being so grounded, so unshakable, that the world's chaos can't touch you. It's about standing in the middle of their storms, their accusations, their guilt trips, and not flinching. It's about showing them, without a single word, that you're done being a victim, done being their scapegoat, done playing their games. They'll hate it, you know. They'll hate the way your silence speaks volumes. They'll hate the way it makes them look at themselves, see the cracks in their perfect little facade. Because that's the thing about silence. It's a mirror. It reflects back everything they've tried to hide, every lie they've told, every sin they've committed. and they can't stand it. They'll try to break you, to pull you back into their noise, their chaos. But you won't go. Not this time. Because now you understand something they never will. Silence is strength. It's not weakness, not cowardice. It's power. The kind of power that doesn't need to prove itself, that doesn't need validation or approval. The kind of power that just is. And when you wield that power, when you embrace it fully, you become untouchable. They can scream, they can accuse, they can try to tear you down, but it won't matter. Because you've risen above it. You found a strength they can't comprehend. Let me give you another picture. Imagine a battlefield. Two sides, screaming, fighting, desperate to win. And in the middle of it all, there's you. But you're not fighting. You're not shouting. You're just standing there. Still, calm, unbothered. And the chaos around you, it starts to falter. The fighters stop, confused, unsure, because they don't know what to do with someone who doesn't play their game, who doesn't engage in their madness. That's the power of silence. It disarms them, confuses them, makes them question everything. And here's the truth. They'll never admit. They're terrified of you. Not because of what you've done, but because of what you represent. You're a reminder of their own inadequacies, their own failures. You're proof that their words, their actions, their power mean nothing. And that terrifies them. Because people like them, they thrive on control. Take that away, and they're left with nothing. Just emptiness. But let's not get lost in them. This isn't about them. This is about you. About your journey, your growth, your healing, about finding your peace, your strength, your purpose. Because that's what silence gives you. It gives you space. Space to think, to feel, to heal. Space to figure out who you are, what you want, what you deserve. And let me tell you something. You deserve so much more than they ever gave you. You deserve respect, love, kindness. You deserve to be seen, to be heard, to be valued. And if they couldn't give you that, then they don't deserve your attention, your energy, your time. You know, there's a story I heard once about a man who spent his whole life trying to please everyone. He bent over backward, gave more than he took, sacrificed himself for people who didn't care. And one day, he realized something. No matter how much he gave, no matter how hard he tried, it was never enough. They always wanted more, always demanded more. And so, he stopped. He didn't fight. He didn't argue. He just stopped. He walked away. And you know what happened? They lost their minds. Not because they cared about him, but because they cared about what he gave them. His time, his energy, his attention. And when he took that away, they were left with nothing but their own emptiness. That's the power of silence. And here's the thing. They'll try to replace you. They'll try to fill the void you left with someone else, something else. But it won't work because you're not replaceable. Not because you're perfect, but because you're unique. There's no one else like you. No one else who can fill the space you left. And they'll realize that eventually. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday. And when they do, it'll be too late. You'll be gone, free, untouchable. So my friend, embrace the silence. Let it be your armor, your weapon, your sanctuary. Let it be the thing that sets you free. And when they sit there, lost in their guilt, their regret, their emptiness, you'll know you've done what they never could. You've found peace. You've found strength. You've found yourself. Because in the end, silence isn't just a lack of noise. It's a declaration, a statement, a reminder that you're stronger than they ever gave you credit for, that you're more than their words, their actions, their lies. So stand tall, stay quiet, and let your silence speak for you. Let it be the thing that makes them question their entire existence while you move forward, unshaken, unstoppable. Because your silence isn't just a choice, it's a victory over their chaos, their control, their lies. And that, my friend, is the most powerful thing of all. And when all of this is over, when the dust settles and the noise fades into nothing, you'll look back and see just how far you've come. You'll realize that their words, their actions, their betrayals, they didn't define you, they never could. What defines you is your strength, your resilience, your ability to rise above. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you were always right to believe in your worth, that you were always capable of walking away and standing tall. You'll find that the world is quieter when you're at peace. The battles you used to fight in your mind, the weight you used to carry, they'll all feel so distant, so small, because you'll understand that the power you've gained through your silence isn't just about them, it's about you. It's about owning your story, rewriting the narrative they tried to control. And in doing so, you've created a life that's yours, untouched by their chaos. So let your silence be the legacy you leave behind, not for their sake, but for yours. Let it remind you every day that you are stronger, braver, and more capable than you ever knew. Let it echo in your heart as proof that you don't need to scream to be heard or fight to be seen. Your silence is your truth, your freedom, your strength. And with that strength, there's nothing you can't overcome. The world may not understand it, but you will. And that's all that matters.